Right now, somewhere just outside your door, along your walkway, between the cracks of your patio stones, across the edges of your yard, plants are quietly thriving that you have spent years fighting to eliminate. You've uprooted them by hand, doused them with chemicals, buried them under layers of bark and mulch, and without fail, every single spring, they return. What if those very plants turned out to be more nutritionally dense than anything currently growing in your carefully maintained garden beds? What if the thing you've been waging war against this whole time was actually more valuable than what you've been nurturing with such care? The average American household spends over $500 annually just on lawn maintenance. A substantial share of that money goes directly toward eliminating these exact plants. This video walks through 6 common weeds, plants you almost certainly have growing around you at this very moment, and explains why they outperform conventional vegetable gardens in terms of nutrition, market value, and one quality that no seed catalog will ever be able to offer you. By the time this is over, the way you see your yard will be permanently changed. Before the herbicide industry successfully convinced an entire generation that a flawless, uniform lawn was the ultimate goal, dandelion was considered a genuinely valuable agricultural crop. European settlers brought it to North America with intention. They carried it across the ocean and planted it deliberately. Let that land for a moment. A plant that now gets chemical sprays applied to it every spring was once carefully transported across an entire ocean as a primary food source. That expensive lawn care routine you've been following is, in a very real sense, poisoning a free and functional food system that has been trying to sustain itself in your backyard all along. Let's begin with the one most likely growing closest to you right now. Coming in at number 6, dandelion. Bright yellow flower, deeply toothed leaves, iconic white puffball seed head. You know exactly what this plant looks like. The one you've been eliminating turns out to be more nutritious than kale. 100 grams of dandelion greens, roughly a handful, delivers 558% of your recommended daily intake of vitamin K. It contains more beta-carotene than a carrot, more calcium per calorie than a glass of milk, and every single part of the plant is edible. The root, when roasted and ground, serves as a coffee substitute, and when dried, it has been used for centuries in traditional wellness practices. It sells for $12 a bag at health food stores. Spinach, one of the most celebrated superfoods on the market, requires prepared soil, consistent watering, protection from bolting and heat, and replanting every single season. Dandelion requires absolutely nothing. It forces its way through compacted earth. It endures frost. It produces from April straight through October, and returns every year from a taproot that reaches 18 inches into the ground. But as impressive as dandelion is, its primary contribution is vitamins. What comes next is the weed that addresses the one nutritional gap that most survival gardens can never fill. Number 5, purslane. Thick, succulent-type stems, small rounded leaves. It grows low and close to the ground. This is the only land-based plant that provides omega-3 fatty acids in quantities comparable to fish. Purslane contains between 300 and 400 milligrams of alpha-linolenic acid per 100-gram serving. That is more omega-3 fatty acids than any other leafy green plant found anywhere on Earth. Most people spend between $20 and $30 monthly on fish oil supplements to reach that same number. Purslane delivers it for free, straight from your garden bed, and it will grow back the following week without any intervention on your part. It operates through C4 photosynthesis, which means it actively thrives in exactly the conditions that destroy conventional vegetables. Drought, intense heat, poor soil quality, complete neglect. While your tomato plants are struggling and wilting in August, purslane is reaching its peak growth cycle. If purslane is the supplement you've unknowingly been growing and destroying, what follows is the protein source that has been hiding right in front of you. Number 4, lamb's quarters. Blue-green leaves with a dusty, pale coating on the underside. Diamond-shaped, frequently mistaken for spinach. This is the forgotten grain crop that actually surpasses spinach when it comes to protein content. Indigenous peoples across the continent cultivated lamb's quarters with intention, harvesting both the leaves and the seeds. The seeds are tiny and dark, closely resembling quinoa, which makes perfect sense given that lamb's quarters and quinoa belong to the same plant family. The leaves provide 4.2 grams of protein per 100 grams raw, more than spinach, along with meaningful amounts of iron, calcium, riboflavin, and vitamins A and C. They cook exactly the same way as spinach and reduce down identically in the pan. Most people tending a spinach bed 20 feet away are spending money on seeds, conditioning soil, dealing with slugs, and replanting every season, while the lamb's quarters 3 feet from that same bed does all of it for free. But here is where the story deepens. Because the next two plants on this list do not simply nourish you. They have been used by traditional cultures around the world as functional foods for thousands of years. That dimension is something most content on this subject completely overlooks. The next plant solves a critical gap that nearly every survival garden leaves unaddressed, and almost no one knows it exists. Number 3, wood sorrel. Heart-shaped leaves grouped in clusters of 3, small yellow or white flowers. Most people walk right past it without a second glance. This is the vitamin C source currently growing in your lawn. The majority of people who come across it assume it's clover and move on. It is not clover. Wood sorrel gets its sharp, citrusy flavor from oxalic acid, the same compound responsible for the tartness of rhubarb. That flavor is your indicator that it is one of the more reliable wild sources of vitamin C available to you. Vitamin C is consistently among the first deficiencies to emerge in diets that have shifted heavily towards stored grains and starches. It was the very reason sailors perished from scurvy during long ocean voyages, not from starvation, but from the complete absence of fresh plant material. Wood sorrel thrives in partial shade, in the spaces where almost nothing else will grow, beneath trees, along north-facing fence lines, in the darkened corners of garden beds. It fills in the dead zones. Number 2, clover. 3-lobed leaves low to the ground, white or red flower heads. It grows in nearly every untreated lawn across North America. This is the nitrogen factory you have been mowing down into nothing. Red clover and white clover are nitrogen-fixing legumes. Their root systems host beneficial bacteria that draw nitrogen directly out of the atmosphere and deposit it into the surrounding soil. This is the same biological mechanism that makes beans so valuable in crop rotation planting, except clover does it as a perennial, across a far wider root area, without any action required from you. Before synthetic fertilizers became the agricultural standard, farmers planted clover specifically to replenish and restore depleted fields. It was a crop, a deliberate, carefully managed, highly valued crop. Then synthetic nitrogen made that process unnecessary, and clover gradually got reclassified as a nuisance weed. Dried red clover flowers currently sell for $8 to $15 per ounce at herbal retailers. You can harvest them directly from your lawn for nothing. The seeds can be sprouted indoors during winter months for fresh greens, ready to eat in just 4 days. But everything covered on this list, as genuinely useful as each plant is, gets surpassed by what comes last, because the final weed on this list produces food before anything else is even capable of doing so. Before your seeds have germinated, before your raised beds have thawed, before any cultivated crop can be safely placed outside. It is the only plant here that functions as a complete early spring survival crop. Number 1, chickweed. Tiny oval leaves, delicate white star-shaped flowers, trailing stems that form dense, low-lying mats close to the soil surface. This is the spring superfood that arrives before your garden even wakes up. In most temperate climates, chickweed begins growing in February or March, weeks ahead of the final frost date. Weeks before any cultivated vegetable can safely be started outdoors. In any food security scenario, the most dangerous window is late winter into early spring. That gap between depleted winter stores and the first real harvest of the season. Chickweed fills that gap completely. It grows when nothing else will. And it genuinely tastes good, mild, slightly grassy, with a texture closely resembling baby spinach. Nutritionally, it provides vitamin C, calcium, magnesium, and iron. A single plant produces 800 seeds. Those seeds can remain viable in soil for up to 10 years. Once chickweed establishes itself in your garden, it becomes a permanent part of that garden, delivering fresh greens every late winter for as long as you work that land. Now step back and take in the full picture of what we actually have here. 6 plants, not one of them costs a single dollar. Not one requires seeds from a catalog, specially prepared soil, irrigation infrastructure, or any horticultural knowledge beyond being able to identify what you're looking at. Together, they supply omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin C, protein, calcium, iron, soil nitrogen, early spring greens, and traditional medicinal value. We are actively paying to destroy a free, self-sustaining food system that has been trying to establish itself in our yards for decades. The food system we are protecting our lawns for, the grocery supply chain, the seed catalogs, the commercial fertilizer inputs, is the fragile one. The weeds are the resilient one. They have endured every ice age, every prolonged drought, every agricultural upheaval in human history, and they will endure whatever comes next. The question is not whether these plants are capable of feeding you, they already are. The question is simply whether you will allow them to. If you have been developing a garden this season, the next thing worth understanding is which cultivated crops genuinely complement what these weeds are already doing on their own. The crops that fill the calorie and long-term storage gaps without duplicating what is already growing wild all around you. The follow-up to this covers exactly which 8 crops work best alongside a forage-based system, and explains why most survival gardens miss the single most important one entirely.